Most women, unlike men, intuitively understand how to prize. That means they know how to get men chasing them, how to give an impression to men that they are prizes and one must chase them. To be successful with girls and women, you must understand how to prize yourself. How to make yourself desirable. Secondly, you have to know the nature of the beast, to compel it to chase you. Put in other words, you have to learn how to make women tick by being around them. Attributes of men who are the prize. Most of the inexperienced men think that girls assess a man's worth by the value of the things he possessed. His looks, his clothes, his car, his house, etc. But there are lots of men who has none of these things. They are old, ugly, bald, poor, and neither own a car nor a house. However, hot girls and women are always befriending them, flirting with them, calling them, and sleeping with him. I know a guy like this. I saw with my own eyes hot women dashing up to him and embracing him with giant bear hugs, lustfully admiring him, and then begging him to go on a date with them. Oftentimes, he would slowly look them directly in the eyes and calmly utter, "No." Then they would try to persuade him why he should go out with them. Once again, he would slowly look into their eyes, cock one eyebrow, and calmly utter, "No." This really frustrated women, but was fascinating to watch. At first Elle did not understand what was going on. I even contemplated him being a drug dealer. But what Elle did not realize at the time was that he was doing certain things that conveyed to women that he was the prize. Let's take a look at some of these attributes. Taking a strong lead. These men are not afraid to take a strong lead. Most hot women are turned on by a strong dominant male lead. Women will oftentimes try to take control of the lead to test how sure of himself a man is. If they discover that he is unsure of himself or has a weak sense of self, they will oftentimes run the other way or walk all over him. Nonetheless, this is a sure way to lose a woman. When we talk about frames, we will explore techniques for keeping in control of the lead. Having high standards, this is a big part of what makes these sorts of men the prize. I think these men are doing two things to convey to women that they have high standards. Firstly, they are conveying through their attitudes and behaviors to women the belief that most women already want to sleep with them. Secondly, they are letting women know that they will not sleep with them if they fall short of their expectations, standards, and rules. Will some women think these sorts of men are arrogant, demanding, and snobby? Yes. But there is a part deep down inside most women that love when men act this way. However, few will ever admit that it exists. I think the reason most women love when a man acts this way is that it conveys to them that he is used to being treated as the prize. Put in other words, it makes them think that he is used to being courted, gamed, and chased by women, making her come into their world. When most men are interested in a woman, they make the mistake of coming into her world. Imagine that there is a guy who tries to invite a girl out with him. And the girl counters by saying that she already has plans to go to her friend's party, but that she would love for him to tag along. When the guy arrives at the party, he knows no one and the girl is surrounded by both guys and girls giving her lots of attention. The problem with this scenario is that unless the guy is very skilled at prizing, the girl will end up taking the lead, which, as we have learned, is a bad thing because women are attracted to men who take a strong lead, not the other way around. Plus, this guy has extra work cut out for himself. He must prove himself to her friends. Thus, this is not the ideal environment for bringing out his most prizable attributes. So, if you want her to see you as the prize, make sure you take her into your world. Take her around people who already love and admire you. In these social situations you will not have to try hard to prove yourself to others because they already love you. This will allow the most prizable attributes of your personality to flourish. Also, your friends loving and admiring you will validate in her eyes that you are the prize. So remember, men who are the prize do not go into her world but make her come into their world. In other words, they make her play on their battlefield, making her accommodate them. Most girls tell that they are turned off by men who try too hard at accommodating them. I think what happens when a man does this is that he comes across as desperate and approval-seeking. Many of us know of guys who went out with a woman will become very self-conscious about things such as, whether or not she likes the music they are playing in their cars, or whether or not she likes the way they dress. The problem is that when guys spend lots energy either caring about what a woman thinks of them, or trying to accommodate her, she will pick up on it. Women have some weird intuitive ability for picking up on men's insecurities. Even if a man acts confident, but is dwelling on accommodating her and caring about what she thinks of him, she will smell his insecurities a mile away. As we already know, being insecure, desperate, and approval-seeking, is not the best way to get women to see you as the prize. So, what is my suggestion? Stop caring so much about accommodating women. Emulate the actions of men who are the prize by making women accommodate you. Put in better words, do things that make women court, pursue, and chase you. Being challenging. Most all hot girls like a man who can challenge them in the right way. Challenging a beautiful girl or woman combines taking a strong lead, having standards, taking her into your world, keeping her toes, taking her on an emotional roller coaster, and making her accommodate you. Having a sense of humor. In Ellsberg Sim's book Pimp he says, a pimp is happy when his whores giggle. He knows they are asleep. Now just to let you know, I do not endorse being a pimp, and I do not view women as whores. However, I think Sim's point is a powerful one. Whenever a man gets a woman laughing, she feels comfortable. What this means is that she stops judging and analyzing every move he is making, and her defenses go down. This makes it much easier to take a strong lead, get what you want, and make her chase you. Humor also shows that you neither take yourself nor the interaction too seriously, and seriousness is the death of good prizing. Furthermore, one of the sexiest non-physical qualities women find in men is humor. In fact, there are numerous examples of women falling hard for men who they physically were not attracted to, yet found their sense of humor to be irresistible. So, if you can learn to do what I'll teach in a way that gets women laughing, you are more than on your way to becoming the sort of man women try to win over. Being vulnerable. If a person comes across as too perfect, girls will oftentimes loathe him. Maybe this is because he makes girls feel insecure. Maybe this is because, since humans are fallible by nature, he comes across as fake and disingenuous. What I'll like to do when prizing a woman is to tell her a couple of things about myself, which reveal a weak or vulnerable side of me. Displaying costly signals. Recently was reading a book authored by the Israeli evolutionary biologist Amit Zahavi called The Handicap Principi. In the book he argues that the alpha males of many species of animals advertise or give off certain signals to females letting them know that they are fit for survival, and, thus, worthy of being a mating partner. But according to Zahavi, many of these signals are not the advertising of characteristics that are conducive to survival. Instead, they are signals that are the advertising of characteristics, which hinder one from surviving. But, the message to females is, despite having these characteristics L can still survive. So, how does this apply to prizing women? Really, as male humans, mating is an essential part of our genetic survival. This is probably why males typically exploit every opportunity to mate with attractive females. Likewise, the less opportunity the male has to mate, the more needy he becomes about mating when an opportunity comes along. However, the man who is indifferent or turns down a possible opportunity to mate with an attractive woman, is putting out the signal, despite the fact that I'm not mating with you, my genes will still survive because I'll have so many other opportunities to mate with other attractive women. In my experience, giving off this vibe to women is extremely powerful and a big part of conveying the message of being the prize. They are comfortable with themselves. Girls like men who are comfortable in their own skin. Some suggestions. One is that you should get really comfortable around hot girls. I know many guys who only spend time with girls they are sleeping with. The problem with this is that unless a guy is really good at prizing, he is not going to be hanging around many hot girls, meaning he is probably not going to be comfortable with himself around them. So, what I'll suggest you guys do is befriend 5 hot girls or women. Do not hit on them, just be friends with them. These girls will teach you more about meeting girls than any book you read on the subject. But not from what they tell you, but from analyzing the subtext of their communication, and from observing their behavioral patterns. Being a dandy. In Robert Greene's excellent book, Art of Seduction, he talks about how women find dandies, the men who have a feminine charm, to be irresistible. I think he is right about this. Most every person I'll know who is good with girls, is very masculine, yet has a certain feminine charm. Girls find men irresistible who have a feminine sense of style and humor, are attentive to details that only girls notice, and judge girls in the way that girls judge men. Being a coquette. Face it, boys. Most girls love drama. If they didn't, most soap operas would have been cancelled long ago. Men just don't watch these awful shows, unless they are gay. But by drama I do not mean that girls pride themselves on having all of the horrible things happen to them that happen in the soap operas. What I'm saying is that girls enjoy being around people, and especially men, who take them on an emotional roller coaster. This means being with a man who can both make them feel an array of different emotions, like sadness, happiness, excitement, etc., and can, like a good roller coaster, be unpredictable and keep them in suspense. So what sort of man is this? This is the sort of man who at one minute shows interest in a girl and the next minute acts as if he doesn't know her. This is the sort of man who at one moment makes her feel sad and the next moment has her rolling on the floor laughing. Put simply, this is about being a coquette. This is about pushing and pulling. Being a rake. The word rake is derived from the word rakeohili, which means the person who rakes the coals of Healy. So, it is not surprising that the type of seducer rake is someone who offers girls or women adventure and danger. Like the coquette, he is a master at creating an emotional roller coaster for a girl and that she can never tell what he is going to do next. He keeps her on her toes, and in suspense. I am talking about the bad boy, the guy who is a little unstable, unpredictable, and yet, you find him strangely arousing. Furthermore, he presents girls with a paradox. He is committed to pleasuring girls, albeit, he is not committed to pleasuring or loving any woman in particular. This can simultaneously be both alluring and confusing to a girl because he is sending mixed signals.